I never thought I'd be upset about losing a bike. Unfortunately, 3 months ago, I was about to go out for a cycle. I walked up to my bike shed and my bike was no longer there. My bike was stolen. And listen, this was just a bike. It wasn't expensive. It was about 11 years old. Only one gear worked and some of it was even rusted. But me and that bike spent so many miles together. It wasn't perfect. In fact, only one of the gears worked, but it done exactly what I needed it to do. It was trustworthy. It was covered in scratches and made weird noises. And honestly, there were definitely better bikes out there. But somehow, over the years, it became part of my life. Since I've lost my bike, I've had to take the tube every morning, and I promise you, that is miserable. It's time to get a new bike. It's taken me a while to get over the fact that I've lost my bike, and it's time to replace it. I haven't gone for an upgrade, quite literally. I've bought the cheapest bike that you can buy online. Can this bike that costs so little actually do the things I need it to do? And more importantly, can I learn to love it? It was finally time to buy myself a new bike. So my new bike has just arrived. Let's unbox it. It's actually a self-assemble bike. To see if this bike is actually worth it, I'm going to put this bike to the test, and I have 3 challenges to see whether this bike is worth it. Firstly, it's self-assemble. So that means, can I fix this bike? My second challenge is, can I use it to commute, which is the main reason I bought this bike. And the final challenge, can I take it on the biggest adventure of my life and cycle it further than any of my other previous cycles? Let's get it open and see what's inside. This is going to be a lot harder than I expected it to be. There are so many different parts in here. Okay, when it said it was self-assemble, I didn't quite realize. Oh. Right, the whole thing's coming out. We've got the seat here and the rest of the bike here. This is what it looks like. So this is what we have so far. We've got one wheel, spokes, the handlebars on the other side, and a small parts box. I've just got the bike down here. It's a lot heavier than I was expecting. I've just got my neighbor's bike stand. Let's go use it and try and get this bike going. It looks a bit crazy. Let's take off all the bits of cardboard first. So that's one wheel taken off. It's not completely straight, but I've got the bike up on the stand to try and make things a bit easier. So that is all of the cardboard taken off, and now it's time to read the instruction manual. Or I can just try and figure out myself. So the first job is to put the front wheel on, and for that we need to disassemble these brakes. So I'm just taking the brake cable and taking it out of this bracket. Let's see if we can do that. Okay, the wheel is going to go through here. Now I'll have to reattach that later. I need to place this wheel into here. And I think hopefully this should just slide on quite nicely. So let's see if we can make that happen. The handlebar is currently in the way, but no problem. That should just go in here. That spins. Let's reattach those brakes that we just took off. I'm just going to rest that there, hoping it doesn't hit my face. And this should go nicely. Okay, so I've had to take off the brake to try and get it on because it was just too tight. But I'm hoping now that I can add this on. Yeah. Okay, so I've got this back on. Now I need to add the brake back on, which I'm hoping is easy. And now I just need to remember the order in which everything else went, which is awful to see. It'll be really hard. I can adjust where the brake goes this way at least. Let's see if I can get this to work. That might have just worked. All right, so I think I've got that on. And that is the brake working. I'm going to try and get this handlebar onto here. Hopefully it should be relatively simple. Oh, got my finger stuck. That doesn't fit. I wonder whether I need to take off this plastic cap. I haven't seen anything about taking that off. I'm not really sure if that's the right thing, but we will try. Taking me about another half an hour to figure out how exactly to get this into here, because as you can see, there's not enough space. And what I can do is loosen this bolt, and that should help this stem converter come down. So let's try that. Hopefully this should just begin to fit. There we go. Tighten this like that. And hopefully, there we are. We have handlebars and wheels that move in motion. Perfect. If I'm lucky, I can spin this wheel and make the brake work. So that's spinning, and that's a working brake. Next up, let's get the seat on. That goes in quite nicely. I think it just needs tightening really. Actually looks like quite a nice seat. This is beginning to look like a pretty decent bike. All right, what's next? I think it's probably the mud guards. That is nice and tight. Right, we're trying that again. Let's get this in. So let's see if I can get this to spin. There we go. That's running. And the back brake gets it to stop. I think the only thing I have to do now is pump up the tires. This bike is looking pretty good and it only cost me. I've also got someone watching me. Your happy little cat. I can feel the air going in. It's a bit of a workout. It's quite tiring work, that. So I have just pumped up both tires. My front wheel seems to be scraping against the front brake, so I think that's the one issue I need to fix. And the tires aren't getting fully pumped up. I need to figure out what's going on there. I think it's good enough to cycle, so let's see how we get on. So that was test ride 1 down. A couple of minor improvements to do. I'm gonna take a bit of a break and then try and fix everything up tomorrow. Oh, okay. So that was day 1 down. I have fixed the bike. So I'm saying that is challenge 1. Can I get the bike assembled ticked off? There are of course some minor improvements I need to make. I need to pump up the tires even more and just try and adjust that front wheel so it doesn't rub against the brake. But there you can see it behind me. It's pretty much done. So challenge 1, let's go. Today is the last day of the heat wave, so you can't really see it. Well, you can actually. I am absolutely sweaty. I'm tired, so I need a break. You can see all the sweat on my face. I'm gonna rest up, sit down for a bit, have a cold drink, and then get back onto it. I think that is a successful first day. It was kind of difficult. There were some elements of where it was a bit frustrating, mainly just I think there are some fiddly bits, but overall relatively easy. The bike is so heavy, so I just want to reiterate, this bike cost me so it's so cheap, and that's with a pannier attached. The last time I bought a pannier it was £25, so to get it all in one I think is pretty good going. Let me pick up with you tomorrow and hopefully we will have a fully functioning bike. My next door neighbour kindly came to help out and had this to say about the bike.
It's quite classic.
I'm just going to take it out for a practice ride to make sure that it works before tomorrow morning where I'm doing challenge 2. So stay tuned for that. Right now I'm just going to check that all the gears and brakes are working, and I'll take you along with me, plus I'm going to give you a full bike tour. And by the end of this video I'm going to reveal to you the price of this bike. So I am set up and it's time to go. Guys, we are cycling! Woohoo! Alright, it's actually really quite difficult to cycle and film. This is the bike. I think it looks pretty beautiful. Let me run through all the features. We have a lovely saddle here, straight handlebars. This pannier rack came alongside it. I even have a stand, which I was not expecting to have. It's a little bit stiff. We've got some caliper brakes. We've got some nice mud guards here, 3 front gears and 6 back gears. So that's 18 gears in total. I forgot to add, it even comes with a bell. So the bike is running really, really smoothly. I'm on it right now. I think it's doing a pretty good job. The only thing I'd say that's not working so well is whenever I change gears, it sort of sounds like a spanner in a blender. So that's the tough part. I'm currently in Limehouse. I'm just in the basin, just seeing how this bike works. I'm pretty happy with it at the moment. So that's cycle 1 down. I think that's a success. Really enjoying it. We are very much into the groove. Bike is kind of growing on me. So the gears are really, really cranky, but the rest of the bike feels pretty good. So I might just need to find a couple of the best gears that I can stay on for most of the time. I'm really not after the best bike ever. I just want something that will take me to and from work. But this bike is pretty bloody smooth. I've got a bit greedy and I've decided to see if it can work on a mud path rather than just concrete. So let's see how it does. I think I can give the mud path a bit of a thumbs up. It has been 3 months since I last put this helmet on. I'm buzzing. Honestly, it's so good to be back out there on on a bike. The bike feels pretty smooth. I'm really surprised by it. You know, I haven't quite calibrated all of the gears yet, and I'm not sure I've got all the skills to be able to do that, but I've given it a go. I'm hoping just the bike settles in and begins to start working and I get to know the bike better. But for how cheap it is, I'm pretty surprised by that. The brakes are looking good. It feels really smooth. The seat's actually quite nice. I've not got a sore bum yet. Tomorrow is challenge 2. Good morning. So today is the day of our second challenge. Can this bike do, the cheapest bike you can buy online, do what I bought it for? Take me to and from work. So we are commuting. I need to get to work. I'm already slightly late. It's a 10-kilometer cycle. Is the bike going to stay together? Are the tires going to go flat? Is the chain going to fall off? We are about to find out. This is the big one. This is the big challenge. Let's see how we get on. All right, off we go. So we are starting off. It's nice and quiet this morning. Pretty nice way to start a cycle, and the bike is feeling pretty smooth. I'm now on the canal. This is actually one of the scariest places to cycle because you always feel like you're about to fall in. And honestly, if I fell in, I generally think that I would get so ill from all the random stuff that's in the canal. Best views here of Canary Wharf. I am just coming off the canal and it's bloody raining. Can you believe that? And that Limehouse Basin, very beautiful. Can you believe it? It's absolutely hammering it down now. It's not rained like this. We've had a couple of thunderstorms in the night, but it's not really rained during the day. What bad luck for a first commute. We're just going past the Shard and Tower Bridge. This is what a London commute looks like. Oh, the bike's working pretty well. Pretty smooth, I'm really happy with that. I'm going at quite a leisurely pace. But my gears are a bit messed up. I'm really enjoying the bike though. It's nice to be on a bike rather than on the tube. I'm now by the river, the final stage of the cycle. We are almost there. When you haven't cycled in a really long time, the hard thing is getting back on a bike and getting a bit of saddle bum pain. Been on for maybe about 25 minutes now. I think I'm starting to feel it. The London Eye and the Houses of Parliament in sight. I'm just enjoying it. It's nice to be back outside. We're coming up to the final big one. The big boy, the Big Ben. So we have made it into the office and officially survived. A pretty good cycle actually. It felt pretty smooth. It was 37 minutes in total, which is a bit slower than I generally do, but to be honest, I didn't push it at all. I was just cruising the entire way. Maybe I haven't completely learned to trust my bike yet, and I don't want to push it and accidentally snap off a pedal or a wheel or have the chain come off. Pretty happy with that. The front gears were a bit shaky. Back ones worked perfectly. It was a pretty smooth ride. My bum doesn't hurt too much, which I'm pretty happy with. Challenge 2 complete. We've done the commute, and that's exactly why I bought this bike. One more big challenge to go. Wow, so guys, I have just cycled back home. I'm pretty happy. I've just got back. I'm exhausted. I've got my feet up on the couch. You know, I was cycling pretty easy. It took me 37 minutes to get back as well. So 37 minutes both ways, but to be honest, I was just cruising. I wasn't trying to push hard. But I'm pretty happy with that. You know, that saved me like £6.80 just because I didn't take the tube today. And I can promise you that is a bigger chunk of the cost of the bike than you could imagine. So stay tuned and I'll reveal the total cost of the bike. I've already saved £6.80. It's a decent amount. That's a whole lunch, couple of coffees, just by cycling in today. So I'm pretty pleased with that, and that's part of the reason why I bought this bike. There are still some issues. The front wheel seems to be touching the brake. I really need to calibrate the gears because they're completely out of sync. Managing on the sort of middle set of gears, which is basically all I need. We've done a challenge complete. Tick, tick, tick. Only one more challenge to go. It is 8 a.m. and it is time for the biggest challenge for my new bike. I am going to take this bike on an adventure of a lifetime. I'm going on the longest cycle that I've ever been on before. We are going over 100 kilometers. We're going from London to the beach, all the way down to the south coast. Let's see if we can do this. I'm going to give you a bit more context on the cycle. Let's see how we get on. I have quite a few concerns. I've even bought these padded shorts so that my bum doesn't hurt too much. That's probably my biggest concern. It's 100 kilometers. I've never cycled more than 30 kilometers before in a single day. And so I'm really hoping that I can get through this. I've got no puncture kit. It's my first time planning my own cycle route. So am I going to get lost? Let's see. We are cycling from London to Brighton. It's going to be my longest cycle ever. We've got 100 kilometers to go. I've tried to attach my bag on here with some old stretch bands, which is a really bad idea. This is my biggest cycling adventure yet. I've never done this before. Let's go. All right, it's not started well because as you can see, my wheel is already uncalibrated from the handlebars. I didn't realize that at this point, but this was going to be catastrophic for my trip. So let's try and fix that. Ooh, just a bit of a twist. Still not quite straight. So guys, I've just set off the London to Brighton cycle. It's a total of 100 kilometers, which is about 70 kilometers longer than I've ever been before. So I'm feeling kind of nervous about it. This should take me, I think with brakes, close to 8 hours, which is not something I really feel prepared for. My bike is hanging on by a thread, quite literally. My first stage is heading over the River Thames. Let's see how we do. I wonder if you can hear this really crackly noise on my tire. It's already started off like this, so I wonder whether it's going to last the entire time. I don't have any spare tubes or anything like that, mainly because I wouldn't know how to fix it myself. Guys, we're in for an adventure. Let's see how we get on. I'm on my first London cycle superhighway. These roads are really great to get around in London. This is what they look like. They're really smooth, and as you can see, there's no traffic at the moment. Is this bad? I'm probably only about a kilometre in, and I can already feel my legs going a little bit. I'll be honest, there's probably a couple of things I'm battling today. The first thing I'd say is nerves. I've always wished to do some cycle rides, but the thing that really makes me not do long ones, especially ones where I'm going to places I've never been, is I just have such a fear of getting lost. And the thing is, I've definitely been lost before, and it's never as bad as you expect. I really just don't want to end up on a main road. So let's see how I get on, and hopefully we're on nice cycle paths the entire way. That's my hope. The other thing is, whenever I plan to go to a destination, I end up hyper focused on getting there. I don't really enjoy the journey. So hopefully this time, if I see some nice views or a nice cafe, I stop off, have a nice drink, don't worry about getting to the destination just as quickly as possible. Guys, we are coming up to the Tower Bridge. I have just made it south of the river. I've just come off to the side to see where I'm at. From this point, I don't really have an idea of where I'm going. I don't have a phone stand. I'm gonna have to get my phone out a fair bit just to figure out the route. I feel slightly unprepared without any straps to actually keep my bag properly on the pannier, or not having a stand for my phone so I can look at the directions as I cycle. Right, so I've just had to do my first U-turn, but I think I found the cycle lane, and hopefully this cycle lane takes me quite far down south out of London. I think there's lots of weaving and turning whilst in London, which makes it kind of difficult to navigate. I've just been thinking about the things I've been saying on this cycle already. It's so clear how nervous I am, considering how I just named all the different things that I feel unprepared for. But I think this is part of the journey. I know there are people who have cycled this route with a worse bike, carrying more on their back, less time, whatever it may be, and probably most importantly, less nervousness, less fear. This journey is really about trying to build up my confidence for these types of adventures. I'm really hoping in the future that I'll build up the confidence to do a cycle from London to Paris. So do subscribe if you want to follow along for that journey. This is just the first step, trying to get some more experience in some long cycling where I don't really know where I'm going. And most importantly, not learning skills, but learning how to enjoy the journey. Let's go. Commute is doing a cracking job at the moment of voice navigation, so I'm just going to follow that. I don't know if you heard that or not, but it's telling me what to do. There are meant to be some huge hills outside of London. So that is making me massively nervous. There's this really famous one, Ditchling Hill. It's meant to be absolutely nuts. A 20% gradient. I'm a bit nervous about that, to be honest. I might need to walk up it. I'm currently on the C10 cycleway, hoping this takes me out of London. I'm really on the back route, so I haven't seen anyone. I've seen maybe 5 cycles on this route so far. These roads are nice and quiet. As you can see, these cycle superhighway signs are really easy to follow, like this. Just made it into the park, about to head onto the Surrey Canal walk. All right guys, I'm on my first official climb. Look how steep this is. I think I'm just south of Peckham now. I feel like I've been going on for a while. I'm definitely being slowed down by having to check where I'm going. I think one thing I've learned is definitely get a stand for my phone so I can look at directions, but we're not gonna let that stop us today. Let's go. We are finally in Dulwich Park, into some greenery off the residential streets now, but it's nice to be out. I'm starting to feel a bit tired. I think I'm averaging about 15 kilometers an hour, which I think for central London is not bad, particularly considering all the lefts and rights that I'm missing. Hopefully we'll speed up a little bit, but I'm not that concerned about the time. All right, this is the first hill that's done me. I'm walking up the rest of it. Oh my God, I have no idea how far I am in it. I checked the map. If I'm more than 25 kilometers in, then I'm gonna take a bit of a break, get something to eat. I just want to show you the hills I've been climbing. That's how far you can look out all the way to the horizon. So hopefully you can see I've definitely been doing some hills. So I'm in Croydon now. It's so industrial, it's an absolute nightmare. Look at the size of these roads. I've got literally no idea where I'm going, so I'm having to cycle with my phone in my hand. There's all these tiny lefts, tiny rights. I just ended up on one of the main roads. Had to very quickly get out of there. But I've seen something very cool. This is the route to Paris. All right, I'm off the bike. Huge uphill to get onto. It's called the Farthing Downs. South London was crazy. It's been about an hour since I last spoke to you. I've been waiting for a bit of green to stop and have some lunch. So I think this might be it. Oh, guys, I'm on the top of this hill. I've had to stop to take a break. I've been cycling about 2 hours now. I'm knackered. I swear this is so much harder than I was expecting. Especially, I think it was nice all the way up till I got to Croydon. And once I was in Croydon, it was just hell. You see how sweaty I am? It's 10:15. I'm not gonna lie, that last hour wasn't that enjoyable because it was just crazy. I'm on a nice hilltop now. I'm gonna have something to eat. I'm really gonna have to reassess whether I'm gonna make it down to Brighton today because these hills honestly are killing me. I think I'm reasonably fit. I'll be honest, this bike is doing a cracking job. I'm 30 kilometers in. The wheels are working. The front wheel is kind of messed up, but oh, this is killing me. I think it's more mental at the moment. It's just this last hill that I just did. If there are loads more of those, then I'm gonna have to walk up them and it's gonna just take me hours and hours. I'm just looking now. I think I've got about 4 hours left predicted. It's actually the England game on tonight, so I don't want to get back too late. If I cycle non-stop, I'd get there for around 2:30. I'm obviously not going to cycle non-stop. I guess I've got to ask myself, what's the rush? I've set myself a goal, and really it's a case of can I mentally stay in it? I think that's where I'm at the moment. But as there are some aspects of this actually being a relatively beautiful spot to stay. I guess the more I eat, the lighter my bike will get. I bought myself a burger here that I made at home. This is going to taste nice. I didn't really have a breakfast. This is completely new for me to try anything like this. This is my longest cycle. You can see all these cyclists going past. I was part of a peloton earlier and, you know, just loads of cyclists. I've been walking up some hills and some asked me how I was doing and if I was okay, which is quite nice of them. All right, that was a good and much needed break. I'm gonna continue now, keep on going. I'm hoping it's a much easier route. Looking beaut. I'm on my first set of country roads. It smells like a farm, but look at this. This is so beautiful. This is just after that massive hill I was dying at. It's been an immediate turn for the better. Just look. Absolutely stunning. We're in the country, baby. All right, things were going pretty well. It's just has happened to my wheel and handlebar. As you can see, oh my God. That just started to move at a really fast speed. So I'm feeling a bit nervous now about whether I should continue or not, because that was kind of dangerous to try and continue with a wheel that almost came off. All right, it's now turned the other way compared to the way it was facing before. I'm on my own in this forest. I'm only about a third of the way in, but my front wheel just keeps on moving, and as you saw in that last clip, it just doesn't feel that safe going downhill. So I think I'm gonna have to call this challenge. I just think I'm feeling a bit too nervous about doing another 4 hours not knowing whether my front wheel is gonna fall off or not, whether my handlebars are just gonna run into the other way. I almost just fell into a ditch, so I don't think this is ideal. I'm trying to cycle here, and whilst my handlebars are facing forward, my front wheel is just turning left and right, and it's completely unpredictable. I really didn't know what to do at this point. No good. All right, it's getting worse and worse. All right, it's getting worse and worse. Look at where the handlebars are facing. Look at the way the wheel is facing. It is getting completely detached. I don't think this is safe at all. Guys, I'm gonna have to call it. I'm trying to cycle back to the closest train station, but I can't even get back on the bike. It's hardly moving forward. As soon as I turn, this wheel just slips. Oh no, this is a bit of a nightmare. I'm gonna have to see how close I am and see whether I can walk to the next train station. The next train station is about an hour walk from me because I'm really in the middle of nowhere, as you can see. So I'm hoping I can get a bit of help to try and fix my handlebars, and then hopefully I can just cycle to the train station, which will take me about 20 minutes. Mission failed. Guys, I just walked half an hour to get to this coffee shop here. I found a really lovely couple that were doing some cycling as well. Borrowed their Allen key, and I've managed to fix the front of the bike. It's probably been about an hour since we last spoke. I think just a bit of the adrenaline of being lost in the middle of nowhere, no real phone connection, just pushing my bike up a hill, bike being a bit annoying by not going forward, and just finding a cafe to stop. And I just took that time to rest and get a coffee, really settle down the nerves, the adrenaline, and then make a plan. I'm now back on the bike and I've got a new plan. I don't think I'm gonna make it down to Brighton today. I've lost about 2 hours from that ordeal. I'm really glad that I had some people to help me. I'm in a beautiful spot here. Found a train station. It's not far, it's about 6 minutes away. I'm gonna grab a train and I'm gonna head back. Guys, adventure doesn't always go the way that you expect, not always the way that you want, but this was a really good lesson for me in terms of things will go wrong. There's an undoubted element of that when it comes to adventuring, but that doesn't mean you can't do your best to give it a crack. It doesn't mean that your day's ruined. All that matters is the way you respond to it. I've had a cracking day so far. I've learned so much. I'm definitely going to do this again, and we are going to be back out here soon. I have just made it to Coulsdon South train station. I've got about half an hour until the train back home. Do you know what? I don't think I can blame the bike for it going wrong. I just don't think that I tightened the nut properly before, which attaches the handlebar to the wheel. I think I needed a torque wrench, which I didn't have. And so I really can't blame the bike. I actually performed better and better as it went along. There's no more creaking. The gears were working okay. The brakes were working okay. They weren't howling the same way they were before. I think this one might be on me. I'm still feeling quite frazzled over the entire journey. There was a lot to think about. I was thinking about food, the route, timing, speed, whether the bike would hold up, all these different things. It's definitely taken quite a lot out of me. Hopefully the next time I do it, I'm just going to be far more experienced and ready for a journey like this. I tried to get on the train. It was absolutely packed. No chance that I could get on it. Just missed the bus as well. That's the bus I need. I then chased this bus all the way back into Croydon. So I basically cycled another 15 kilometers from where I was. And from there, I took the overground back into London and cycled home from there. So even getting home was a bit of a pain. I am absolutely exhausted. Bloody hell. So I'm going to need some time to decompress, but I will be with you shortly and I'm going to tell you exactly what happened. I have just made it back home. I'm absolutely exhausted. I had no idea that things were going to turn out that way. So as you can see, I was cycling downhill from that peak that I just reached. So it was probably the toughest hill I'd done all day. And just as I was coming down, I felt my front wheel start turning one way whilst my handlebars were facing another way. I ended up just losing control and ending up in a ditch. And from that point, I just started to lose a bit of confidence. I tried to continue cycling, but the front wheel, it just completely kept turning left and right. It was completely unpredictable. I basically just had to stop. I ended up walking back all the way to a cafe. It took me like 30 to 40 minutes to find a cafe. And then there were loads of cyclists there. A couple kindly helped me out, gave me one of their Allen keys, and I was able to recalibrate the wheel and the handlebars. I think I just hadn't tightened that nut enough. To be fair, I don't think it's the bike's fault. I then cycled all the way back to Coulsdon South just because I thought, right, I've had my adventure. I had so much to think about during the day. And so with all these things, I think I was just probably feeling slightly a bit too stressed. You know, it was all quite a new experience for me. And I was like, right, the point of this was the journey. It's about doing something new. It's about trying something that I've never done before. I got what I wanted out of that. Even if I didn't quite make it all the way down to the south coast, I probably wasn't going to get into the sea. So whilst that was symbolic, whilst going out on the longest journey was also symbolic, I think I got what I really need. The bike actually performed quite well. The wheels stopped rubbing against the brake. The gears, I'm somewhat limited, so I'm probably working with maybe 5 or 6 different gears maximum, but it's enough range to go from low to high. The bike itself, it was pretty smooth on the road. Going uphill though, I don't know whether it's the bike or it's just my fitness, but there was absolutely no chance of it going uphill. It's quite a heavy bike. Yeah, I'm not sure it's perfect for the hills, but I think it is quite good for that long commute. I definitely didn't fix the bike up properly, so I'm not saying that it's the bike's fault for not getting me all the way down to Brighton, even though we did have a mechanical. I'm putting that down on me. I'm actually pretty pleased with the bike. So how much did the bike cost? The bike in total, it came with a pannier rack, a belt and a stand. It only cost me £125, which I think is ridiculous value for a bike. I cycled to and from work, and that normally cost me about £7 a day just in transport costs. So I just need need to go to work 20 times before I make up the value of the bike just by reduced transport fees. So I do think it's a worthwhile investment. If you're looking to do something more than commuting, you might want to get a better bike. What I can say is this is not the end. There's definitely going to be some more big adventures planned with this bike. I'm going to take this bike right to the very edge of its potential, so hang on for that. I am feeling tired. The England game is on tonight at 1 a.m. So I'm going to have a shower, have a cup of tea, have a nap, hopefully wake up in a couple of hours and then head off for the football and be up and ready for that. Come on England tonight. Let me know what you think. I still want to do this trip to Paris. I know now how tough that's going to be. So please do subscribe if you want to see that. I will still try to do another cycle all the way down to the south coast very soon. Thanks again for all your support.